Hi everyone, Raquel here from Scrapcosy. Today I'm going to show you two techniques to create like rust effect or patina effect. You may have seen this in the past, but well, this is a brand new project that I did actually a while ago, but you haven't seen it. So let's get started and let me show you how to make this. So first I'm going to create a matchbox out of actually another matchbox. And what I'm doing is just copying every side into a piece of paper. This paper is a smoothie paper by paperartsy. And I really like to work on this type of paper because it supports, it can hold a lot of water. So if you want to use a lot of mediums there, well, you can have it. And it will not destroy or anything. It will handle very, very well large amounts of water. So I'm copying the matchbox basically into parts. So one part is the outside and the other part is the inside, which is the drawer, right? So I'm just making sure that everything is drawn, and then I will cut these down into pieces. And I want this straight because I want to close properly. So this is like the outer the outer sleeve of the matchbox, and this is the actual drawer, yeah. And now I'm trimming by hand the rest. So this was the first design, let's say, but I was kind of tweaking it a little bit where it needed to. So I just cut the flaps a little bit there, but you will see that later on I kind of cut it even a bit more, and it's just to make sure that it works right. So I'm using the score pal to make some score lines, so then it's easier to fold, because this paper is pretty strong, and if you don't use this sort of thing like a folding like a score pal or something similar, basically, that where you basically score your lines, it would be much difficult to actually fold everything in a pretty straight line, yeah, right? So yeah, I'm just marking all the lines and folding them as need to create that drawer. Okay, and then I will test how it looks and cut everything if needed, if I need to. Okay. So now this is the sleeve or the outer part of the matchbox, and I'm cutting one extra flap, so then they overlap like this, and then one fits into the other. Okay, so that's my base, and now I'm trimming this a little bit more so it closes better. And once my base is ready, then I will start with the decorations. And now it closes better. Okay, and I'm just making sure, oh yeah, I scored that a little bit more, so then I leave some room for the actual paper to fall inside better, and I'll do the same on the other side as well. And now I'm satisfied on how it closes and everything, so I'm happy with my base, and now we start. So I'm just erasing everything from the pencil marks, and then I'll basically start decorating it. Okay, I don't know why it's taking me so long to start. Okay, yeah, I'm just marking there the part that doesn't go decorated, so then I know for sure that it's not going to be covered, and I don't put anything special there. So I'm just selecting some stamps. I'm actually selecting one from my very first release, ESC01, and now I'm stamping those flowers a little bit offset because I want them to kind of fall outside of the matchbox to add some 3D elements, you will see. So that's done on purpose, even if you see the flowers partially stamped, because now I'm stamping more. And these are to add some 3D elements on the actual box. And now I'm going to stamp that tag, where I will stamp also that, I don't know, it's like an ad, a vintage ad from another collection that I did as well. I think it's ESC20 something. Well, it's one of the stamps that I showed you before. And now I'm going to add some color. I'm going to use infusions. You know by now, if you follow me, what these are, but for those who are new and this is the first time seeing this, so these are like some dried powders mixed with walnut crystals, and then basically they react with water. So you add some water, in this case just regular water, but any other water medium base will work as well, and then you dissolve all those pigments and all those walnut crystals, and then basically you create like a thing that you can use to color your images. And in this case I'm just using the green and the yellow to add some color to my flowers. Okay, now with some of that yellow I'm adding colors on that tag, on that label for coffee, and then a little bit more to add this other tag. So the one at the bottom is actually behind the box and you will not see it, but yeah, now I'm doing like a washout, so more infusions, more water, and just quickly adding random color there, and then some splashes of water and drying that to add more marks to make it like more distressed. And now with a splatter brush or any other brush that you have, I'm adding more infusions up top. This time are a bit more dark, so more concentrated, more saturated. And now I'm using the distress ink, the vintage photo, to add some ink on the edges, even to the inside of the box, although you will not see it probably, but I like to finish it. And then on each side of the label as well, I'm adding that ink, so then, well, basically it looks more finished. I'm cutting all those flowers and now attaching them to the surface with some matte gel medium. This is a perfect glue and it sticks very, very well. I'm closing that box as well with the same medium. And now I'm just adding some dimension to those flowers, so I'm cutting them even more, each petal individually, and shaping it is with my fingers, so then they are kind of 3D, and then I'll glue them in place. Okay, so I sometimes cut them in a full set, so then I don't have to do everything little by little, and then that leaf hanging outside. So this is how it kind of will look, and again some multi-medium matte to stick everything in place. I love this glue because basically you can stick even very little tiny pieces, and if you're patient and let it dry a little bit, it will just stick and nothing will move. So it's pretty good. I like it. And it also dries matte and it kind of disappears, so you don't see any gloss because it's matte finish again. And yeah, I like it very much. So again, it's the matte medium finish. I'll put every product that I have linked in the video description if I can, so you can get it there if you want. Okay, many shops will have it. So now I'm adding the label there, and then I will put some flowers on top. So as you saw, I've covered one, but then my plan is actually to put some on top, and they will look very nice. So this is just the base, let's say, and if you like it like that, you could just finish it there, like nothing else needed. But then, as I said, this video is to show you two techniques on how to create rust in different ways. So we are going to do our own rust based and also our own, well, some patina effect. And yeah, by adding this final element, I could say that the box is complete and you don't need anything else. But now we're going to add some rust and grunge everywhere. Okay, so this is the effect for the first technique, or rather this one, depending on the color combination of paints that you select. I'm selecting 4, and it will be like 2 browns, light and dark, and 2 blues, light and dark, plus gold, plus infusions and grunge paste. Okay, so the grunge paste, I'm extending that into a piece of scrap paper. That is going to be my brush, and I'm going to dry it. Once it's dry, I'm going to apply the first paint with a brush, and then I'm going to start stamping that on my surface, and I'm going to repeat that with all the paints that I have in the table, and adding one at a time and as I need to. And if I think that I need more of one or the other because I see too light or too dark, well, I'll go back to that paint. And if needed, I will basically change the brush in some cases, if the brush is still wet with the previous paint, because I kind of want to keep each color there. I don't want to do blends in principle. So yeah, that's the patina effect. And normally, instead of blues, I would use an orange and probably, yeah, orange, yellow and brown. And that will be it, but sometimes adding the blue is also pretty cool. So in my view, if you add warm tones and cool tones and then dark and light colors, you can choose any color combination, and you will get a very nice patina effect. And at the moment I think it's pretty dark, but then look at how it changes once we add a different color on top. Here I'm just trying to clean my brush, and I think that at some point I just changed the brush. So now it starts to warm up just by adding those touches of that gold rush, which is not gold, but it's a very, very nice color, cream color. And a bit more. And why did I apply that grunge paste? For two reasons. First, because it actually adds some sort of I mean, the stamp that I get is not plain because it adds some texture, and also at some point the grunge paste starts transferring into the paper, so it adds some dimension as well. So now I'm going to add the brown again. So I'm coming back to the original colors, making sure that everything is covered. And as I said, if I feel that I need another color, then I'll come back to it. Some more brown. And some parts I know that I will not be covering them. I mean, they will be covered, sorry. So then the flaps, I'm not bothering on adding anything there. Now I'm adding some blue. And I know that on top of this final layer, I'm going to add infusions, as you will see at the end. And I know that everything will warm up suddenly, so I'm not worried at this point if everything looks very, very cool. And the final touches there. And then we will be ready for the final bit. Oh yeah, the gold. So for me, if it's a patina and you're trying to resemble some sort of metal, I think that it's good if you add a metallic paint at the end, just a little touch. And then that really makes a difference because somehow it tells your eye that this was metal in the past. Okay, and now with infusions, I'm adding quite a lot. I'm going to start putting some water there and you will see the change. I mean, it suddenly changes. If you really like the previous color, then don't bother doing this step, of course. But with this on top now, it seems like it's rust. And also I'm not applying too much water. I mean, I'm applying a lot of water, yeah, but the amount of infusions that I'm using versus the amount of water ensures that some of the walnut crystals stay as it is. They don't dissolve, okay? Only the pigment dissolves and some of the walnut crystal stays. And that gives even more texture to the patina effect because you see some little granules that will stay, and that's pretty gorgeous afterwards. Well, I like it. I mean, you can compare the two finishes. I mean, they are so different, but then you just add infusions and suddenly they blend and they resemble the same thing. So like a dry, I mean like a rusty thing, right? Now I'm drying everything and then everything becomes matte. So if you wanted to keep that, I don't know, shine or something, probably you could use some sort of medium that it's glossy medium that is water based, and then on top of your infusions, you know, and then that may achieve that wet effect as well, if that's what you wanted. I haven't tried, so it's just an idea. You could try if you wanted to. And now for the back, just to finish it, because I don't want to see any whites, I'm adding infusions with water on the back. And just a little bit more infusions. You never have enough infusions, or I never have enough infusions, so I always add a bit more. So now I'm testing that this works and closes, so that will be the box. And I'm going to add a little element, so like a knob to open that drawer. So I'm just doing like a little hole there, and I'll attach a metallic element there. It's like yeah, I don't know how it's called. It's a stud, I don't know. So it's a part of screw, and then that thing screws on top and basically it's like a little knob. And so now I'm going to glue this with the same matte gel medium everywhere, and you just need to be patient and press a little bit. And I'm going to do the same on the other side, so removing the stud and then put it again once everything is dry and in place. Okay, so that's my drawer, and that could be finished there, But now we are going to add another layer of rust. So this is how it looks at the moment. Okay, very neat and tidy until you open it up, of course. Once you open it up, you can see the rust, the patina effect that we did. And now we're going to add more rust on it with some paste that we will do ourselves. So with grunge paste and those paints, okay, we are going to create a patina and some, sand, okay? So I'm just selecting some grunge paste. This is texture paste. It's pretty dry, actually, it's not that dry normally. And then I'm adding some sand, and that's the effect that we're going for. I'm mixing the texture paste very, very well, and then I'll split into 3 or 4 different parts, and then I'll mix with the different paints, okay? So I'm selecting the one that I will use as a base is the brown, so that will be the more paste that I have. Then a smaller group for that green, then the yellow, very tiny bit, and then some of the orange. This is just super, super tiny, okay? So the bigger blob of paste is for the brown, which is the base. And because these paints are opaque basically, so yeah, one will cover the other. So I need for more to less, let's say. So this is one side of the box completely covered, okay? And then I'll start adding touches here and there. So you can add as much or as little as you want. And then it's just a matter of putting these wherever you want rust to appear. So I'm just adding that, yeah, on all those different corners and on some side. I think I stopped there at some point just because I wanted to see how it looks. So also there I'm putting on the drawer and on the knob because it looked too shiny, it needed to be rusty. And then once it's there, then I jump to the next color. For this one I was going for orange and then yellow, because this is the normal way to rust for me. I mean, the color of the turquoise is like an extra, I mean, it's a patina that I've never done, but this was done for a challenge of a friend of mine. She wanted us to do some rusty projects with that turquoise color of a rusty finish. So then I basically said, okay, we will do that, but let me show you first how I normally rust things and how this looks like when you just use the regular colors that I normally use, okay? So now I'm drying in between takes. Here is the bluish, but then again I think, oh no, let me show you first how it looks with a normal rust. So I'm just adding the yellow touches here and there, and I'll finish with the blue later on. So then you can see the different steps that the matchbox has gone through. And a little bit of gold, that will be at the end. So now I'm just adding it, so then you can have a look at how the rust, the regular rust, looks without any green patina. And now I'm going for the patina, the whole thing. So now this one will add like this sort of touch of what is it? Is it copper? When copper kind of rusts, that gets this color? I think it is. Because I mean, for iron you would just use the other color combination that I showed you before, but for copper those would be the colors, I think. And I really liked it actually. I mean, it was my first time using this one, but I think I will repeat. It's pretty awesome. And suddenly, I mean, it was a plain piece of paper, right? And then it suddenly kind of transforms into something that seems that has been there for a long while. And you can add as much or as little as you want, so you don't have to be heavy-handed on this. You can just add a little touch and that will be good enough as well. So after I finish with the green, I'm going to add a little bit more of gold and a little bit of the other colors. So because that seems too green. But then you keep on adding the different touches and then it's more subtle, okay? So you just need to work a little bit with the base as you like, and then once you're happy with the result, then you just stop there. And if for whatever reason the paste kind of dries, you can always add a little bit more of paint on top, and that will make it more runny. And it's better that you don't mix a lot of this paste and you kind of create it in advance. I think you just need to create the one that you need at the moment, because otherwise it will get dry and, well, it will, yeah, you will not be able to use it tomorrow basically. So it's just use it as you create it. And now I'm adding the gold touches here and there, especially on the edges. And again, if you want to trick the eye to think that this was metal, I think that the best way is to actually incorporate a metal as a paint, as I was saying before. And yeah, so that really adds the difference and makes a difference, I think. And it doesn't need to be, I mean, don't put a blob, it's just little touches. So then when you look at the box and you twist it and change it, then you will see that it kind of still shines a little bit. And I think that adds a very, very nice touch. So now I'm finishing the drawer as well, and that will be it. So this is the finished thing, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I currently use this to store my SD cards for my GoPro camera, and yeah, I have it around and I really like to look at it. I hope you like it too, and I hope that you give it a go to these techniques. And if you do, please, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, you can subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!